Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ven. This is a Let's Play for Democracy 2 by Positech Games. It's a game I recently acquired and one that I find just fascinating because it's a government simulator. You play as the government, you have limited actionability. Let's just get into it. First, you choose from a made-up country, mostly, with the last one being the USA. I'm just going to go with one I haven't yet played, up in the top left, Malanganga. That red state where voting is compulsory. I'm just going to go with the basic setup options. You can adjust them if you want, but for new players, they recommend just leaving it as is. Okay, I'm the Prime Minister. At the bottom here, you can see that we have many different problems with our country. I'll just read them off here. We have pollution, street gangs, technology backwater, inner city riots, vigilante mobs, contagious disease, asthma, hospital overcrowding, tax evasion, and homelessness. All of which are important. So the question is, which do we focus on first? Excuse me. Okay, here's the main screen. You could see all these options. It looks very convoluted, but it's actually quite simple once you get the hang of it. Everything is connected to something else. For instance, let's look at the problem of pollution. We just mouse over it. Pollution is attributed from air quality and affects lifespan. Also is a contributor to, it has a negative impact on environmentalists. So if we want to change the pollution problem, eliminate it, we need to go over here and look at air quality. Air quality is an attribute of air travel and car usage. Also contributes to the asthma epidemic. So now I could come over here and I could look at air travel or car usage and look into changing these. But I'm not going to. I'm going to try to affect our air quality by implementing a new policy. Let me see what we have. On the economy, here's one: pollution controls. So pollution controls restrictions on what chemicals and emissions can be released into the atmosphere, reduces pollution and increases health at the cost of economic competitiveness. Normally I would say not induce pollution controls, but in this case, because it is a big problem for our country, I'm going to implement it. It takes 4 turns, which is actually the equivalent to a year. It takes 5 political capital. Right now we have 21. Okay. And this is a cost. This would cost 19 million per quarter. And then we can adjust this slider to affect how much cost we're going to put into pollution controls. And you can see that it affects air quality, GDP, capitalists, and environmentalists. I'm going to go ahead and put in restrictions and fines. And now we'll see the effect of that over the next 4 turns, as it's not implemented immediately. Everything you do in this game takes time. And I should probably state what we're trying to do here. This bar down here is our percentage of the entire electorate who intend to vote for you. Basically, it just means that we need to get this above 50% if we're to win the next election. Our goal is to be re-elected. And then here's the political parties which are involved and their happiness with you as a president, dictator, prime minister, whomever. And as you can see, the conservatives really don't like us. So enacting that pollution policy may help with that. Okay, so we'll give that some time to see what happens over a period of a couple turns. Let's look at another problem we have here. What is this? Hospital overcrowding. That's increased due to immigration and violent crime is putting more people in the hospital, which is overcrowding our hospitals. And is decreasing lifespan. We can maybe look into reducing crime. That's a factor of handgun laws, community policing, alcohol. Well, let's look at policing. And we can see how this affects everything else, be it crime. If we adjust this slider, working with community rather than attempting to control it, community policing encourages the police to integrate more with and understand the needs of the local community, especially in areas with ethnic minorities. Critics see to it as an expensive waste of money. Could be spent on more direct methods to cut crime. So, policing the community. So we can give more money to the policing of the community, which in turn decreases street gangs, decreases crime and violent crime. So I'm gonna increase the amount of cost. I'm gonna turn that on high. And it just takes one political power to change, not much. That's easy to do. And we can look into see if there's a policy that we can enact. Public service, maybe? Law and order, it sounds more like something. Curfews. Enact curfews. It seems like the very, I don't know, radical method. And I don't have enough political power to do it anyway, so I'm going to leave that be. In fact, let's just end the turn and see what happens. Okay, so we get a quarterly report each turn. Right now, still, my approval rating is disappointing. And we have a moral choice to make here. Subliminal advertising. So subliminal advertising, we're being lobbied basically to stop adverts from advertising subliminally. And if we ban subliminal messages, then that will have a negative effect on possibly the economy or the companies in which use subliminal techniques. But then the other side of that story is that, you know, it's not necessarily the right way to advertise. And it's not something I would do, but with the government, I guess you have to make these kinds of choices. I don't think it's the government's place to put bans on that type of thing. So I'm going to allow the subliminal advertising. I think they do it now today anyways. And that'll have a consequence, later on as the game evolves. Okay, we gained some political power. We have now 36 points to use to change policies, enact measures, whatnot. We still have a lot of problems. And, of course, the goal, make people happy. As you can see, the conservatives are very unhappy with this. What can we do to change that? Well, some of the biggest factors are vigilante mobs and then inner city riots. Inner city riots, let's look into that. So as you can see, if we were to decrease poverty, that would decrease inner city riots, and same thing with unemployment. So if we go to poverty, how do we decrease poverty? It's you could take away some taxes. State housing is decreasing poverty. I wonder if I should enact some more state housing benefits. Let's look into what about the police force here? It doesn't have a factor on inner city riots, though it seems like it should. It is contributing to vigilante mobs, so let's see if we can change that. If I give the police force a higher spending, that'll very much decreases vigilante mobs, violent crime, and then in turn makes the conservatives happier with me. In fact, why don't I just push this up to 2.45 billion per turn? Seems like the right thing to do to help these people. People get happy with me and reduce the real problems with our government, with our country. It's going to take 14 political power. I have 36, so I have enough political power to make this happen. Okay, let's end this turn. Okay, some things have happened. Let's see, we have a wasteful economy now is a problem. Our productivity is low. Our workers are less efficient and less motivated than those in other nations. This is going to reduce our overall wealth and our international competitiveness. Okay, so we need to look into some things, a way to make that change, make our workforce more productive. Maternity leave is adding to that, labor laws, and the unemployment benefit by a margin. Okay, we have another issue to deal with. Our ambassador to the UN retires this year, and we need to name his successor as soon as possible. How much will be made of whether we appoint a hardliner who sticks up for the country or someone who's more able to compromise? Dealing with the UN, I'm probably more willing to enact a person willing to compromise, because we're talking about many other countries, which if the other countries are not happy with us, it can build threat towards our country. It can be a bad thing. Let's see. Travis, he's a more popular figure and a true internationalist. Or you can go with Marjorie, who is a well-known patriot and will fight tooth and claw to get her interests represented by the UN. In this situation right now, I'm probably going to go for Travis. He's the more popular one. Even though it's appeasing the liberals and the socialists in our society, we're talking about other countries. So I'm going to go with him for now, and then do other things to make the popular vote happy. Okay, and as you can see, state employees, their happiness with the government has increased, as well as the conservatives. Before, there were no units here. Now there are 2 little red units, which means they're becoming more happy with the things that I am changing, which is in turn giving me more percentage of a vote. As you can see here, up here at the top, there's a bar. Every time I end the turn, this bar goes up a little bit more. At the end of the bar, that's when we have a presidential, or in this case a prime minister vote. And I hopefully have done things that I needed to do to make people happy with me that will get me that popular vote. So that's the basics of how this game works. As you can see, it's pretty in-depth. There's a lot of different things you can do. Quite addictive, to be honest with you. This is part 1 for Let's Play. More to come.